Yeah. One of the more notable characters that you voiced, I've noticed, and I've listened to because I've seen it, is the Major from Ghost in the Shell. What was it like doing that? Because the Ghost in the Shell in general, like the movies and the show, become such a staple in the anime community.
Yeah, it's an amazing series. I wasn't doing voiceover when the first movie was done, and I remember seeing it thinking, man, I really wish I could have auditioned for that. And I was at a wine tasting when I got the call that they not only got the series, the company I've been working for, Zero Limit Productions, but that they wanted me to play the Major, and I was just over the moon because I've played a lot of roles, you know, that are kind of either like Erd was a little bit goofy but still strong, and then a lot of villains and stuff. But to actually play someone that was that strong and still kind of feminine at times, but also just kick ass and use my own voice, I loved playing that role. I loved it.
Excellent. Yeah.
What are some of the other roles that you had then for animes?
I played the first series I drew. Well, actually, the first job I did was the show called The Wanderers, El Hazard, and I played Diva, Queen of the Bugroom Empire, which was really fun because I just basically did Kate Mulgrews' voice. So that was fun. But I did Noriko and Mysterious Play, Fushigi Yugi, and when I started directing, my first gig was Cowboy Bebop, and I fell in love with Spike Spiegel, so the minute I found out that his girlfriend Julia was going to be on the show, I'm like, I really want to play Julia. So I played Julia in that, and I adapted and directed Wolf's Rain, which I loved, and I got to play the lead villain in that, Lady Jaga. Also against Steve Bloom, who played Spike in Cowboy Bebop, so that was fun. What else? Cornelia, most recently in Code Geass. And I got to play Abigail Brand in The Avengers recently, and that was really fun. And I think I'm one of the Blades on Zabu's and on Bleach, and Helba and the Dot Hack series. So, stuff.
Impressive. Good variety.
Yeah, good variety, thanks.
Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, my friend who's also working here doing some interviews today is just starting to get into anime really, and he asked me something I thought it'd be good to ask you, which was because you've done some voice work and you've been doing this for a while, is if you're getting new into anime, what shows would you recommend? Because I was doing all this stuff and he didn't really know where to start.
I haven't seen Escaflowne, but I hear it's fantastic, so I think that would be a good one. I think Bebop would be great because it's very westernized.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of ninja and
it's not culturally heavy.
Yeah, and it's really intense and dark and beautiful and funny and has probably the best soundtrack of any show anywhere that I've ever heard. I mean, I have all the special edition 8-disc of Yoko Kanno, so I just think she's a genius. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
If you like fighting stuff, Bleach is fun. If you like Harry Potter, I would say go for Naruto.
Yeah.
Those, yeah.
I lent him Bebop and he watched 3 discs in one night, so that was one of the ones that
there you go.
he enjoyed.
That's a good one. then he's hooked.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the more like directing role of games?
I've been doing. I've been working for this company, Zero Limit Productions, for a couple of years, and doing voiceover. And they had too many shows and too few directors. So they called and said, "Would you want to direct a show?" And I said, "Sure, Reps." I was terrified. Instantly, my instinct was, "No, you'll fail." And I said, "Well, then I should try it because that's what you do." And it turned out to be Cowboy Bebop, and that was it. And I'd been doing some on-camera work, but I really didn't enjoy it, and it just felt like the last audition I had was so awful. The celebrity was such a jerk when I went in to read for him, and I just thought, and I actually said, I know I'm supposed to be here, because I'm here, but I'm not supposed to be doing this. So any sign, anything, and 2 days later I got the call to direct Cowboy Bebop, and it was like being shot out of a cannon. I've never stopped working since. Not good. And from there it was games.
They just kind of lead to one to the other together.
Yeah.
What sort of work does directing entail in general?
Well, for me, it entails a lot of homework. retentive about that. I'm obsessed with it. I need to know what I'm directing before I get in the booth. Some directors don't, but I really, I want to know what I'm talking about. So I'm just not BSing the whole time. So for me, it's a lot of work at home, watching a lot of anime, and I try and watch. When I started directing Naruto, I think they were on like episodes 80 or 90 in Japan, and I came in 22, and I just watched in one weekend as much as I possibly could, just so I know where the character's going to go, especially on a show that's as serialized as Naruto is. So a lot of research for me, and then when we get in the booth, it's my job to make sure that people who come in first, I'm carving out the story, making sure that the story is true to the original, and that people sound like they're going to be speaking to each other, because they're not. We bring the actors in one at a time, and they have no context, they haven't read the script, they haven't seen the episode, so they're basically cold reading all of it. So it's really my job to make sure that all the intention behind everything is as specific to the story as possible and true to the content.
Didn't I know that they do one guest?
One at a time. So it's like recording a symphony, one instrument at a time, and it's your job to make sure it's all going to blend together at the end. It's a great puzzle to put together. I really love the challenge. I do a lot of original animation too, so that's great too, because then you get an entire cast in the studio, and you actually get to hear everybody playing off each other, and let the madness ensue. It's really fun. Really fun.
I know somebody is a big fan of you and Naruto, and she wanted to know,
Yeah.
what's your favorite anime that you haven't been a part of, that you haven't directed or voiced?
Death Note.
Death
I
Note?
really wanted Death Note.
Death
And
Note's
when
good.
Viz optioned Death Note, I asked my boss, please get this show, please, because I really was obsessed with Death Note. I loved that show. I loved it. But it went to Canada, and that's great. They did a great job.
They did. Really good.
Yeah.
Are there any projects upcoming that you can talk about? We're always trying to get like just a little something.
Well, Tom Hewitt, the producer of Silent Hill, already talked about it. So I directed the re-release, high-def release of Silent Hill 2 and 3. We had to revoice the actors. We had to revoice all the characters because the original guy who played James asked for royalties that was not part of his contract, and Konami didn't want to deal with it. So they said, we've got to redo it. So that's the most recent thing I've been working on, is Silent Hill stuff. And still Naruto, and a little bit of Bleach, and there's some stuff from Marvel that I can't talk about, but it's pretty cool. I got to co-direct Iron Man and Wolverine that are now on G4, so Marvel, so that was really cool.
The Madhouse production, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Silent Hill, it's like one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh, cool.
And 2 is my favorite, and you voiced Maria in that, right?
Yes, I think I maybe miscast, but I did as best I could. I didn't cast myself. They wanted me to play it, so I said, all right, then I will play it. So, and I liked the innocence of Mary, and I loved the at times the darker sides to Maria. It was pretty fun to play 2 completely different sides of what some people consider to be the same character.
I bet it sounded like fun. And
yeah, and I got to play off Troy Baker, who was great fun. So
Yeah.
that was great.
that's awesome.
And I got to direct it, so it was
Yeah. That must have been like, because I know you did the music too for
yeah.
all the vocal work.
What was great about that, especially directing Silent Hill 3, is that I'd never actually played the games because I'm a chicken. So at the part where they're at the, I think the amusement park, and you can actually hear the songs behind the scene or playing underneath the scene, and I was like, oh, cool! That's where they used it. That's great. So that was pretty awesome.
How did you get into doing the music for those games?
The same company that produced Cowboy Bebop, Zero Limit, they called and they said, we've got this music project coming up, and do you want to audition and sing? And I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. And I didn't think I was right for it because it seemed like it was for a younger, higher voice. But that's what Akira said he loved, was the fact that my voice was deep and husky, and then it sort of played, it was a juxtaposition to the music itself, and it really set an off mood for Silent Hill, which was great, and there were so many different styles of music that we did, so it was really fun.
Yeah.
From ballads to rock out stuff to I'm on heroin to all kinds of stuff. It was great. Literally one song, that Tender Sugar, he said, "What's this about?" And he's like, "You're coming down from heroin and you need a fix." And I was like, "Well, I've never had heroin, but I smoke, so I'll just be like, I haven't had a cigarette in a day and I need one," and use that for motivation. It was great fun because it was a real acting job to sing this stuff as well. A lot of more acting than just straight out singing. So.
Well, you did great because it's on my iPod.
Oh, cool!
What are some of the video game roles that you've done, like voice acting wise, and which one is your favorite?
I did Nina and Tekken. That was really fun. I've done that for years, I think. I just did, I can't say the name of it. It's a big zombie game, but I can't tell you which one. But I played this huge, multi-breasted zombie queen who's just naked and disgusting, and it was awesome. I took a month to recover vocally, but it was pretty fantastic. So that was great. And I did Nora in Final Fantasy 13. That was really fun. Even though I got dropped off a bridge by Troy Baker. Thanks, Troy. He seems to be killing me a lot lately. So I really enjoyed that.
Is that game out yet, or is it...
Final Fantasy 13, yeah.
No, I mean the one you can't talk about.
No.
Not out yet.
No.
Just making sure. There's been a couple of zombie games lately. I'm not sure if it was you can't talk about it now or.
No, I wish it was Dead Island, but I have a feeling that trailer, that's the best trailer I've ever seen for any. I just love, because I was a huge Lost fan, so it reminded me so much of, it's like Lost with zombies.
Yeah, that reverse trailer. That's
Brilliant.
So cool.
I love it. The music is just brilliant, yeah.
I know like some voice actresses and her actors have trouble with a lot of the screaming loud voice roles, and I remember reading somewhere that the woman who voiced Excel from Excel Saga ended up losing her voice for a couple of months, and they had to replace her. So I was wondering, are there any roles that were just really exhausting, or any roles that you would not want to do again?
Well, the zombie role was hard, but since I direct most of the time, I figured, well, I can trash myself, and then it'll just, I'll just take a while to recover. Unfortunately, we ended up doing the concert for our first Silent Hill concert in San Francisco, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm never, how am I gonna sing? So that was really hard. I don't do screaming roles for more than 2 hours. I just can't. I know a lot of actors now don't, but just like I can't do more than 2 hours because it just kills me, and it takes too long to recover.
It's good to set limits. You don't want to, because in the case of Excel Saga, they finished the majority of the show without her after they had established her as the main characters.
Yeah, and it's a shame. And sometimes the producers have never been behind the mic, and they're just like, "Well, just do it." And it's just like, "You do it. Get here and you scream for 2 hours, and we'll see how you sound in the morning." It's just like, respect my instrument. I hate to be that hoity-toity about it, but it's just like, it's an instrument, and if I break the strings, I can't play anymore. So it's their muscles, and they'll wear out like anything else will. So sometimes they just don't get that. I'm really careful with the actors I direct to make sure that if we've got any screaming at all, it's at the end of a session, and then if it's a lot of screaming, it's just 2 hours worth, and to give a lot of breaks and a lot of time to recover, because I know you blow somebody out on a Monday, they're trashed the rest of the week, and that's a week's worth of income gone. So I try and schedule all the screaming stuff on a Friday late in the day, so that they don't have to. So they at least they get the weekend to recover.
It says that you were involved in the Afro Samurai game.
Yeah.
What is it like working with Samuel L. Jackson?
It was awesome. He was amazing. He's just such an unbelievable professional and fun to work with, and terrifyingly talented. And I was just scared shitless when I went in there, and he was early, and and it's just like, and he's sort of quiet and checking you out, kind of a thing, seeing whether you're not going to be any good. And he had 2 mics set up. We had a mic for Afro, and then we had a mic for Ninja. Afro was down, and he had and ninjas up and that, you know. So it's two hugely different roles, and he did it all in sequence, 250 loops in, I think it was less than 4 hours, and he was brilliant. He was like, I think the first thing I said to him, look, Sam, we'll do this however you want. If you want to just do one roll at a time, you want to do both, whatever, however you want to do this, Sam, it's all you, whatever you want. Does that mean I don't have to take direction? And I said, does that mean I don't have to give it? And I didn't even realize I said it. And the whole room went, ooh. And Sam had his glasses on and he just looked at me and went, and that was it. It was a love fest from then on in. He had, I think, 3 or 4 pages of really lascivious stuff to say to prostitutes as Ninja, and he said the whole thing looking right at me, and I was like, thanks, Sam. You know, it was great. It was really fun.
Are there any other like voice actors that you like working with just consistently?
Oh yeah, Steve Bloom, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Troy Baker, David Wittenberg, Stephanie Shea, so many. Yeah, Roger Craig Smith, Tom Kenny, Grey DeLisle. There's so many good ones, and Kari Wahlgren. There are too many to name, really. If I continue to, I'm going to forget someone. That would suck. Spike Spiegel's here, thank God. Hi.
They asked like half my questions, so I'm looking for the ones they
Oh, okay.
How was it? You've done so much in this industry, from games to directing this to directing that. How has it changed and developed since you started?
Well, after Bebop, there was kind of a boom. There was a huge resurgence of anime, and really good anime, and they put a lot of money into it. And then, as it happens, they just kept producing more and more and more. And I kind of feel like they wanted it, faster and cheaper, and then the economy took a crap, and it's sort of dwindling. Now I'm hoping that more will come back when the economy comes back, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And with all the pirating that goes on online and people watching it illegally, I mean, it's just like buy anime, spend the money if you can, because that's what fuels the industry. So with the explosion of the internet, it's also been making it's been hurting the industry because people aren't buying it as much as they used to.
What do you think of on the streaming services like Crunchyroll and Hulu? Do you think it's going to end up helping the industry get back on its feet a bit more?
I hope so. I think it's great. Naruto's on Hulu, and I think that's terrific. I mean, it gives everybody who can't go out and actually buy it a legal way of watching it.
I have a friend who subscribes to both, so
oh, good.
She's having lots of fun with that.
Excellent. Yeah.
Well, since we're kind of running out of time and questions, what do you like to do in your free time? Assuming you have some.
I like to travel a lot. I love to travel. We just got 2 new kittens, so I watch a lot of kitty TV these days. I'm into photography these days, so I like taking pictures. I was into jewelry making for a while. I'll get back into that at some point.
What are your cats' names?
Cats' names are Ash and Bishop.
Big names. Is it like based on the color of them a little bit? No?
Alien?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
You
That's
got
awesome.
It's the 2 robots from Alien.
I mixed that one.
Alien and Aliens. Because the cat we just had to put down about 2 months ago was 16 and a half, and her name was Jones.
Wow, that's a good run. 16 years.
Best cat ever.
Well, I have one more question that
Sure.
hasn't been asked, and it's kind of a personal one. It's your husband does a lot of voice work too, right?
Oh yeah,
Did
so
you-
much.
I was looking at his bio, I'm like scrolling.
Yeah.
Did you meet him during a project or through work?
When I first came to town, I was singing in this club, and was also looking for more income. And I saw in Dramalog they had auditions. Universal Studios need singers and dancers. I was like, well, I can't dance, but I can sing. So I went up and auditioned for the Beetlejuice Rockin' Graveyard Review. Got hired, and then actually went to see the show that I had just been hired for. And the first person that walked out on stage was Beetlejuice, and and that was my husband.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I knew the minute I watched him perform, I was like, oh, I have to break up with this doctor. Because that's the guy I'm going to marry. Even without a fright wig, the whole thing, I just fell in love instantly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much out of questions.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you
Hey,
very
my
much.
pleasure.
It's been a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
you guys.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a quick photo real quick.
Sure.
Me too, if you don't mind.
Yeah.